My name is Shuri, and my life was ready for a change.
It really looks terrible. Good.
It all started with Joan.
I'm Joan Jett. I want to start an all-girl rock band.
Man, I walk into this movie late. I just got to get that out the way right now.
Yeah, you did.
And I walk in, and I see on the screen the camera panning by some chick in some really hot lingerie. I'm not going to lie. I start to get a little rise in my pants. I'm like, God damn, that's hot. I'm glad I walked into this movie at this part. Gets right up to the face of the girl, and it's Dakota Fanning. I'm like, shit. Why would you do that to somebody?
You're allowed to feel it. You're just not allowed to do anything about it. Although when you watch this movie and all the lingerie and barely covered shit they've got Dakota Fanning in, and the like total erotic photography, I'm sorry that the camera is obsessed with her about. There's no way she's not Drew Barrymoreing right now in her career. You're watching this going, yeah, she's doing coke and she's getting laid, and there's no way she's not. You know, I mean,
damn, wish I was there.
I'm just saying, I'm not saying this is a fact, but you know, just this movie here. I mean, maybe she's just trying to push herself. What was it the last movie she was in? She got raped or something like that?
Yeah, it was a movie. It wasn't a very good movie, but it was controversial because there was a rape scene in there with her.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you know what? I would like to think, and really, I'm serious about this. I don't want to see Dakota Fanning in any kind of lingerie. I don't want to see her doing coke. I don't even want to hear about her doing that. She's still that same little girl that I saw in those movies when she was growing up.
Not to me.
You know, the little girl that Denzel Washington was out there sticking dynamite in people's asses and blowing them up over. You know, she's like, to me, she's like that, still that little girl. And that's the biggest thing that disturbed me about this movie is that it's based on the 1970s all-girl, almost punk metal group, the Runaways.
Punk band, really.
Yeah. And a lot of people came out of that band. Now, I didn't know that much about them. You knew more about them than I did.
Sure. I was actually a big fan of the Runaways at one point.
So Joan Jett came out of the band. Yeah. We also had
Lita Ford.
Lita Ford was in the band. Mickey Steele went on to be in the Bengals, and Sherry Curry was the front girl for the band. Sure. They were all teenagers at the time. So Dakota Fanning is 16 right now. She plays appropriately the same age as Sherry Curry was at the same time she was in the band, which means she's living a rock and roll lifestyle out there, you know, getting laid, as you say, doing coke, drinking, right. Except that, you know, they're underage.
Well, it adds a genuineness to this film, really, because let's face it, more often than not, most 16-year-olds are played by 23 or 24-year-olds because everyone in Hollywood is tiny.
Yeah, and they don't want people walking in getting a boner like I did with these people.
Exactly. But even so, you know, the Runaways, they're not exactly a huge mark in punk history. I mean, it's like, okay, it was an all-girl band, and that was kind of cool, but there were other better all-girl bands that came along later, and they only had really one hit, and that's Cherry Bomb. And they should have just called the movie Cherry Bomb because every 5 minutes they remind you that they played the song Cherry Bomb, either playing it, talking a few lines out from it, rehearsing it, or just plain turning the camera and saying Cherry Bomb.
Yeah. They're at a firecracker stand, y'all, like a pack of Cherry Bomb.
I know, right? It's like, what kind of pie would you like?
Cherry Bomb. But they
have you lost your virginity yet, Sherry?
Yeah.
Have you lost your
Cherry
Bomb?
Even the poster has a cherry. I ain't gonna do it. Yeah. Even the poster has a cherry bomb on it. But you're right. So, and even when the other people went off to do other things, like everybody knows Joan Jett, who was one of the executive producers on the movie.
Yeah, she apparently showed up here in town for the screening
for South by Southwest.
I was not able to be at that particular version of the.
Yeah, we were at an earlier screening.
Yeah, we saw the lame I don't feel like standing in line screening.
Yeah, the one with a bunch of nobodies in there, and even when Joan Jett became popular, I think. Among people who know her like me, nobody knew about the Runaways.
I didn't till much later. I mean, sure, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, you know, I Love Rock and Roll and all that. That was when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I loved that song. I loved that album. I thought it was great. You know, I mean, there's so many good songs on that album. I thought Joan Jett was awesome. No idea she was a lesbian. Not like it matters. But back then you just didn't talk about such things. You know?
She is?
As far as I've always been told.
Who told you this?
Joan Jett when she wouldn't sleep with me.
Hey, Joan Jett, fuck off.
No, I mean, who cares, right? I mean, that's
I
awesome.
do. She's fucking hot. I'm
pretty. You can't be hot lesbians? Is that what you're saying?
it just, before you feel like you got a chance, and now your world is just demolished. I mean, crumbling right in front of me.
The lesbians are getting hotter and hotter. I hate to tell you, like a Portia de Rossi.
I hate to tell you that. I hate to put it this nasty, but right now I see Joan Jett's vagina crumbling right in front of me.
Oh wow, what a terrible metaphor.
Tell me about it.
I hate the thought of that. And right now, Joan Jett's vagina. What is she, like 50? Her vagina probably is crumbling. So
I don't know. Maybe I'll come out on top then. I heard that South by Southwest that she's
it's
still
like an Irwin Allen disaster film up under there.
Joan Jett's vagina. People running from it. No, run! No, I heard that maybe she is 50. I don't know. I think because looking at some of the members in the band, of course, the most highlighted people were Sherry Curry and Joan Jett.
Well, you say most highlighted. That's it. Everyone else is window dressing at best. One of the members, what's her name? The actress from Arrested Development. She's got a very unusual name, but she's like one of these people who's been in a lot of stuff lately. She was in Whip It as one of the main characters in that. She doesn't have a single line in the film, and yet you see her on screen throughout the movie. Like,
really?
Why are you even here?
Maybe she's deaf.
The film is not about the Runaways at all. It's about Sherry Curry and kind of about Joan Jett, even though we don't know one thing about Joan Jett from this movie.
Well, that's back when Joan Jett, I guess we should say that Sherry Curry was the band. Everybody knew her. She was out there taking pictures. She was out there. She was the one everybody wanted to interview. And that kind of led to the demise of the band. Like most bands, everybody became very egotistical, start to feel like, hey, I have a big part in this band too, but she's getting all the attention, and kind of led to the breakup of the band, which paved the way for Joan Jett to be a big star, because she felt like, hey, I just want to be, a part of the band. I don't care if people look at me or not. It's all about the music, man.
They never needed a singer in the first place because Joan Jett could sing perfectly well, as was clear because she sang up backup vocals in the Runaways. They just wanted her for the same reason Sid Vicious was in the Sex Pistols, really.
Yeah.
It was just about image, and sure enough, the media bought into that completely and made her sort of the star of the band, even though she had the least to offer to it.
Kim Bally, record producer. You heard of me.
Have I?
I like your style. A little Bowie, a little Bardot, a look on your face that says I could kick the out of a truck driver. Joni, this is Joan Jett. And you are?
Cherie.
Cherie. Cherie what?
Curry.
Cherie Curry. Is that your real name? Well, Cherie Curry, do you sing or play a musical instrument?
Yeah. Yeah, I can sing. I won a talent show lip singing to David Bowie. Why?
Why? Asked the maybe great Cherie Curry. Read my lips. We love your look. We are choosing you to be a part of rock and roll history. Do you want to be in the band?
Are you kidding?
And so why are we watching a movie about her? That's kind of my biggest problem with The Runaways, is that ultimately it's kind of a boring rock biopic. It's just going through the motions of the same shit we've seen a billion times before. The rise and fall of a star buys into their own ego, when the person I'm really interested in, even though it's a moderately uninteresting performance by what's her name?
Kristen Stewart.
Kristen Stewart is Joan Jett, who's a much more interesting and in-depth personality than Sherry or whatever the hell her name is.
Sherry Curry?
Sherry Curry. I want to call her Cherry now because of Cherry Bomb. Ever was, really. And I'm just waiting for them to get around to her. But when I say they don't tell us anything by Joan Jett, I'm not kidding. They don't tell us anything. You don't know anything about where she came from, where she was born, what her upbringing was like, what she likes, what her favorite fucking color is. You don't know anything except
black.
She's a tough girl and she likes rock and roll.
Well, I think this movie might be a little misleading because Joan Jett is such a big name that you probably start thinking like, all right, I'm going to see the Joan Jett movie. And that's not what this movie is. It is about pretty much Sherry Curry, somebody who we hardly hear of, and it's about the breakup of the Runaways. It's not until the end of the film that we start to learn about how Joan Jett became Joan Jett. And the more I thought about this film, and again, I can't really be fair because I didn't see as much of it as you did, but not knowing anything about this band, the Runaways, And what little I did learn, like I said, I didn't know Lita Ford was in this band. People might remember Lita Ford. What was the big song, "Kiss Me Deadly" or something then?
She wasn't very good.
Yeah, she was in that period of Hair Bear bands. Hair Bear.
Yeah, she was Hate Bear.
Hair Bear of hair bands, those 80s metal hair bands. She was in that period, and she had a couple of hits back then. I even learned a little something like that. I was like, wow, I did not know this, and that's kind of interesting to me. I don't mind movies that are biopics when I feel like I've learned something, and this movie, I walked out of it saying, all right, I picked up a little something here and there. Dakota Fanning, I thought was great in the film. I mean, I'll buy it a little creepy with all the lingerie and everything.
Sure.
But I mean, like I said, I don't want her work to reflect her life. I think she's kind of taking these roles now because she knows that she is that cute little girl. She has to come out and drastically, radically change that image.
Well, she can't go too far with that because a lot of people do. They go too far over, and then people are like, wow, they're kind of fucked up. And even if they're not, that's what they get from it. I feel like now you've done that enough. Now it's time to go get a part in like a Woody Allen movie or something like that, because I agree with you. She is really enormously talented. It's not like puberty took her acting talent away. And she shows here that even though I thought that her character isn't very well defined at all, I mean, it's like I said, it's a by the book type of thing. And even her dialogue is pretty uninteresting. She does her absolute damnedest to deliver it with as much, lack of humility as possible. I mean, she's puts herself out there completely for this part. She does. And you've got to admire her for it because, like we said, she's only 16.
Yeah.
It couldn't have been easy to do some of the degrading stuff they have her doing here. But even so, it's not her or, like I said, the generally boring Kristen Stewart who is just sneering her way through this film like she does everything else she does. That's interesting. It's the actor that plays Kim Fowley.
Michael Shannon.
Yeah, the manager of the band, who apparently is wildly exaggerated, who's nothing like this in real life, who apparently is a total sleazeball in the sense, like in this movie he's a sleazeball, but he's like this big lovable sleazeball, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah.
Kind of like the way Larry Flint was in The People versus Larry Flint.
Yeah, no, from what I saw, you like him in the movie. You actually see him having to like be sort of a sleazeball and an asshole just because he has to pull this band together.
Hey, what the you girls been doing over there?
Well, we've been practicing, man, like you said.
Oh, yeah? Well, get back to it. You bitches are going to be bigger than the Beatles.
Now, according to pretty much everyone, that's all a bunch of bullshit. That he was an asshole. He totally took advantage of the band. But apparently the book was either by him or he owns some rights to it. So they couldn't even make the movie without his approval. And he came in and said, you have to change this, this, and this. So, take that as you will. Either way, I mean, yeah, this is a work of fiction in many ways. And for the record, he's really entertaining as hell to watch.
Yeah, he's great.
And it is the best thing about the film.
Yeah, I can see that. I was reading here. There's a basis for the band, Jackie Fox, who's not featured in the band. They make up a character for her named Rob, played by Alicia Shawkat, who because of issues in the movie, they could not get that character as a fictional character. I mean, they couldn't get the real person in the film, so they made up a fictional character.
She's the one who has no lines.
Yeah. Is that the one that has no lines?
That's
Alicia
Shawkat.
Not a
single line.
Oh, that girl.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that girl that's the girl from Whip It.
Yeah.
The friend of Drew Barry. No, I'm sorry. The friend of Juno was in the movie.
Juno's buddy.
Yeah, Juno's buddy.
Juno's Arrested Development buddy. We've come to this.
Yeah, I remember walking in and I not like seeing her a couple of times and then her disappearing. Yeah, you're right. This is directed by a girl named let me see here. Floria, I think is her name. Floria Sigismondi.
Yeah, that sounds as good a pronunciation.
Floria Sigismondi. Sounds like a magician or something. See the great Sigismondi tonight.
Sigismondi!
She was a video director before this.
And that's it.
Yeah. If it is something outside of that, I don't know. But
not that's on her Wikipedia page.
Okay. So, yeah, for all I know, she's just a video director, which you can kind of see that with this movie because I know Kristen Stewart was looking for this to I can't see if she was looking for this, but a lot of people are saying like, oh, okay, now she's trying to do a departure from the New Moon series, Twilight series. So she's going to play this role, and it's going to be something a little more edgy for her. But really, the edgiest thing they get to her in this movie is filming her in slow motion playing the guitar.
Yeah, that's it. There's nothing inventive about what she does. That's the problem here. It's like, wow, maybe you're a music video director, but you certainly didn't do anything that was that noticeable.
Yeah, she dresses like David Bowie and plays guitar in slow motion. That's about it.
Yes, I hand my hats off to whoever did the costume design, because a lot of the costumes are really cool and really, capture that period of time really well, the whole glam rock period. But, that's it, really, because as a director, I thought that, like, everything they were trying to do to be evocative and expressive and stuff, music video style, which there's a lot of it. Basically, if they couldn't have anything to make the story move forward, they would just have it go in slow motion or something mildly hallucinogenic. Everything that was like that was stuff that was done back in, the 90s. There's nothing new. There was nothing interesting to offer there.
Oh, well, all that said, I can't be really be fair. You would
like to have sex with every woman in the film.
who is legal? And for all I know, they're all legal now. In fact, Sherry Curry is hot. I mean, I don't even think Joan Jett is 50 yet. She might, if she is, she's just 50 because all these, they were kids, they were teenagers when they were when they were in the band. Yeah. So I know Sherry Curry is probably still in her 40s. She's a chainsaw sculptor. Which they tell you in the movie.
That's hot in and of itself.
And a chick with a chainsaw, I mean, yeah, really, my biggest complaint with this movie, first and foremost, is that they are depicting these kids as these sex objects, and that I find that kind of disturbing, and I don't know, it's hard for me to get past that. But however,
that was how it really was.
I know, and I can't really fault it for that. I'm just saying, for me, it was hard for me to get past that. But it is a typical rise and fall of a band, and if you know about the band already, I don't think it has anything to really offer you. If you're like me and you didn't really know anything about the band, you walk in there, you might learn some things enough to say. And again, I can't really be fair because I didn't see the movie, all of it. I walked in the middle, not even the middle. There was like a lot to get gone by.
Yeah, it was over halfway, I think.
But I guess I give this. I don't know. I guess I give it a low matinee. I gotta go easy on it because I didn't see the whole thing.
Oh, fair enough. And I can see that. I mean, I can't see giving it any more than what you did. And I can't agree with you about the whole, if you don't know anything, there's some interesting stuff. Really, there's not much more information than you'd get in the first paragraph of the Wikipedia entry for the Runaways, which isn't really anything at all. There's no depth to anyone in this film. Even Kim Fowler, the manager, he's a caricature, but he's a very entertaining one. There's nothing visually to offer. The only thing this really has going for it, other than saying good job Dakota Fanning at putting herself out there, is some of the actual rock sequences, which, the Runaways had some really fun songs, and they managed to pull it off and make it feel like this would have been awesome to see these guys live. All that, on the table, I still can't give it any more than a rental. I really can't. It's just not that good of a movie, and I think in a couple years it's going to be all but completely forgotten. If anyone remembers this, it's just going to be for that whole weird Dakota Fanning, oh, this is kind of creepy seeing a 16-year-old like this on stage.
Yeah, damn. If you can't remember a movie where Dakota Fanning got raped, I mean, I don't think this is going to do any justice for you either.
I don't think anyone even saw that movie.
The person who raped Dakota Fanning did.
Yeah, it's like, this movie is awesome.
He was filming it.
This movie is better than sex.